Hey everybody, Alex Miller at Capion here. Let's talk about music. Music as a business has had its head kicked in 1,000 times by technology in the past 150 years. And music is something we all enjoy to some degree, and it's a great case study. It's probably going to have a weird, turbulent 10 or 20 years coming up yet again because of AI. I think this is such a rich topic, I can't even figure out what my thesis is. I'm just going to point out just all the crazy stuff that's happened to music and how much it vaguely resembles what's about to happen to it again because of AI and to other industries because of AI. So here we go. It was not that long ago. If you wanted to experience music, live music was it. There was nothing else. This was maybe even a world your grandparents or great grandparents lived in. When the phonograph was invented, everybody involved in music thought it was going to be an awful disaster that destroyed culture. And who are we to say that it wasn't? There's a great Scott Joplin quote, St. Louis native, this is why it's on my mind. Him talking explicitly about it just going to ruin the culture of music, that you can record it and just replay it. It's going to make music trashy. People are going to put a lot of trash, etc. And like maybe that's coming to pass from Scott Joplin's perspective. Point out some other culture that kind of lingers with that. People used to be better at singing and playing instruments, is my understanding. In the Middle Ages, I don't even really believe what I'm about to say. People who told me this, peasants, would like one brother would know how to play the lute and the sister was good at singing, and you would have a little family band in your village just because that was how you could experience music if you wanted to experience music. Period. An interesting survival of this culture, I think, is super cool and classy. So if you're out there keeping it alive, thumbs up. I'm with you. You have a nice party and you make your teenager play piano for everybody. That, I believe, is a kind of holdover. If you read like Jane Austen novels, they do that kind of thing. Once again, because if you wanted to listen to music at a party, that was how you did it. So that's a very, very, very different world. I would point out, just like a social thing, there's no listening to music alone. There's no listening to my music that has to be different from somebody else's music. That didn't make sense in that world. Music was an intrinsically social activity. Once you can record music, it's totally different. There's this whole phenomenon of really rapidly moving trends. I don't think that used to exist in quite the same way. You can get one song and market the heck out of it. These are all things hard to analyze because that's the world we all lived in. Coming to the internet era, music's already gotten its world turned upside down once, in that you can download individual songs now, so people might not want to buy a whole album. It's really hard to do anything about privacy because you don't need a physical object. So that's heavy by itself. Going back to the social thing, I go to the gym. It's entirely normal. They're playing music, which already relative to the year 1900 is like, oh, this is very luxe. They're playing music for me. You would need a band for that 150 years ago. Even though they're playing music, almost everybody in the gym wants to listen to their own personal music, which presumably they chose according to their tastes that they developed. That kind of culture couldn't have existed. Turned upside down, and there was lots of discussion maybe 20 years ago about just hard to make money in the music business under the old way. And then we're about to do that again, where AI can write music and produce it. And I'm going to put a link below this. I found some website in about 5 seconds of Googling that will give you some AI songs to listen to. I really like to listen to kind of up-tempo funk, acid jazz when I'm trying to concentrate, so it doesn't really need lyrics. I prefer it didn't, and I don't know. I'm listening to this AI music thing. It's doing a pretty good job. So that's probably going to upend the world of music again. Going back to the social aspect for a third time, live music, it both exists as it did 150 years ago and it doesn't. And this is, I think, a really important clue. Well, life will be painful, but it will go on. People still love live music and make an effort to go to live music. I'm guessing if you could go to some concerts 150 years ago and come back, you would notice that it's probably changed quite a bit and people's goals aren't really the same. You no longer go to a concert purely to listen to music. You go to be part of the scene, have visceral experience, see the other fans of the band. I used to love to see Slayer live when I was a teenager. I don't like Slayer's music. Their fans are nuts and there's a ton of energy. So I was really not there for the music. If I was listening to music at home, I would have listened to something else. I like the environment as a sort of exciting, dangerous adventure. So live music still exists. It's changed. This has happened to music so many times that I find it hard to untangle them in a video this short. And it's going to happen to music again. Why am I belaboring music so much? There's lots of history of examples of new technology essentially automating things for people, changing culture, disrupting economic institutions, and this one's probably not going to be different. Music, I think, is just a crazy good example for it's been constantly disrupted, and it really looks like one of the industries where the generative AI wave is going to disrupt it really hard again. So if you like music, which I feel like is basically everybody to some degree, something to think about in an AI context because there's a whole lot there.